So the Torah says in Parshas Yisro, Vayishma Yisro heard, Yisro the Kohen, the priest of Midian, the father-in-law of Moshe, he heard everything that Hashem did to Bnei Israel, how he saved them from Egypt and all of that. And he acted upon it because all the nations heard what happened. They feared that we say in Shir Sayam how all the different nations in Eretz Yisrael and everywhere else, how they were terrified because of what happened from Bnei Israel. But they didn't act in it. They didn't try getting close to Bnei Israel doing peace or anything like that, or getting close to Hashem, or realizing the truth that Hashem is God. And in fact, not only that, Amalek did the opposite. They actually seemed to see the truth in some way, not really. The Torah says, they didn't fear God. Maybe they realized the truth, but they still didn't fear God, which is a crazy, insane thing to do. And they went and fought with Bnei Israel after hearing this. So they acted upon it, but not in a good way, in a bad way. But Yisro heard and he acted in a good way, and the Torah is telling us, is praising Yisro over here. Now, in fact, the Ibn Ezra says that this is why Parshas Yisro is mentioned over here, because really it should only be mentioned after Matan Torah, because that is when really it happened, according to the Ibn Ezra, like I'll explain in a little bit, Be'ezrat Hashem. So why is it mentioned over here? So the Ibn Ezra says, because after it talked about the war of Amalek, how Amalek heard everything that happened, and they decided to fight against us, and we have a commandment to take revenge and fight Amalek and destroy them completely. So then it tells us someone else who heard, but he didn't. But he acted in a different way, in a good way. He became a ger. He came to rest under the Kanfei Shechina, which was Yisro, and his descendants. We're supposed to be kind to and save them and not harm them, and we see exactly in this type of situation that Shaul HaMelech, when he went to fight the Amalek, he asked the offspring of Yisro to remove themselves from the area because Yisro went under the Kanfei Shechina. He came close to Bnei Israel. And he also, not only that, gave Moshe advice, and therefore we're supposed to do with them chesed. So that's just something interesting. Now, like I was mentioning, so that there is a big machlokas, but did Parshas Yisro happen? Did Yisro come before Matan Torah, or did he come after Matan Torah? And now, in general, there's a machlokas, and this, well, not exactly a machlokas, but we have a rule that ein mukdam u'meuchar b'Torah. There's no early and late in the Torah. What does that mean? Like everything doesn't go only by order. Sometimes it will go out of order, and we see Rashi saying this a lot. We see that Ibn Ezra all the time uses it on a regular basis to when he's trying to explain something that's not understood, and he uses that as an explanation all the time. The Ramban doesn't usually do that unless he has to, and you'll see all the time he runs away from doing it that way, rather because the Ramban holds that ein mukdam u'meuchar b'Torah is only in a situation that there's no other choice. The only way it makes sense is that it's not in order, and there has to be a reason. It's not, now everyone holds that there has to be some reason, but the question is how big of a reason. The Ramban holds that there has to be a real good reason that it's mentioned if it's not in order, that it's mentioned over here. So over here the machlokas gets to the highest level, it seems like, and over here we see the Ibn Ezra holds that Yisro came after Matan Torah, and he has 4 proofs for this, and he brings them in length. The Ramban lists them also. And the first proof is that the Torah says Yisro heard everything that Hashem did to Moshe and to Bnei Israel, and how he saved them from Egypt, and he told Moshe whatever, and he came to the mountain, to the desert where Moshe and Bnei Israel were camped over there, to the Har HaElokim, to the mountain of God, to Chorev, to Har Elokim. Now, what was Har Elokim? Har Sinai, of course. The mountain of God is Har Sinai, so we see that there at Har Sinai we already see that they're not in Rephidim, which was where they were beforehand, where they complained about the water, and where they fought with Amalek. So the second proof that he brings is that in the morning when Yisro saw Moshe judging everyone, sitting down, and he asked him, why are you judging them the whole day like this, sitting down? So Yisro explained to him that when they come to ask something from me, and I tell them the laws and the Torahs, and so you see that they already had laws and Torahs. So first of all, it says the word Torah. Secondly, you see that they're already, Hashem already gave them rules to act by, which were the mitzvahs, seemingly the mitzvahs and all of that. So that would seem to be another proof that this Yisro came after the giving of the Torah. He brings a third proof, and that is that at the end of this parsha, after Yisro gave Moshe advice on how to judge the people, how to appoint people under him, until basically he will tell them what to do, but he won't actually be telling them like every specific person for every specific case, but generally telling them what to do. And then then in general, people will go to the people that Moshe appointed, and then unless it's really hard, it won't come to him, and that way he'll be much more relaxed and able to judge them much more easily. So after that, Moshe sent Yisro, and he went back to his place. Now, the question is that later on, it actually Sefer Devarim, Sefer Bamidbar. When Bnei Israel were about to leave Har Sinai, Moshe tells Yisro, "Nasim anachnu l'makom asher amar Hashem Elokeinu." We're going to the place that Hashem our God has given to us to inherit. Come with us, and we'll do good for you. We'll do good. We'll give you. Basically, we'll take care of you and all of that. And Yisro said, no, I'm going to go back to my land. And Moshe pushed him, but then it doesn't say that Yisro agreed to go or anything like that. So assuming, let's say that he went back to his land, because it doesn't say actually that Yisro went. So then if so, when did he, so we see that, when did he go? He went after Matan Torah. So why is it mentioned twice? The answer is, when it's mentioned over here, it's because it's concluding all of the whole story of Yisro in one thing. So it's mentioning in short that Moshe sent Yisro back to his place. But later on, Sefer Devarim, it mentions it a little more, in Sefer Bamidbar, it mentions it more in length. But basically, Moshe sent him back to Midian, and this was after Matan Torah. The fourth proof that he brings is that in Sefer Devarim, when Moshe is giving Bnei Israel Techacha, and he starts off with the introduction and all of that, and he says, I told you at that time, saying, I cannot alone carry you. Hashem your God has increased you like the stars of the sky by multitude. Now, the Ibn Ezra explains, by the way, that this was a reason that they had to leave Har Sinai, because Hashem increased them, and that was the promise to Yaakov, that when they're increased, then they would inherit Eretz Yisrael, and that's why Moshe said it. And then, therefore, he said, "We're going to leave. Let's go to Eretz Yisrael." And then Moshe said, and I said at that time, I can. Moshe said, "Havu lachem anashim chachamim." Take for yourself smart people and anoint upon you, basically a bunch of judges and people that he appointed under him to take care of Bnei Israel. Now, this seems very similar. This rings a bell. We heard this in Sefer Shemos, and over here, but over in Sefer Shemos, is mentioned as advice that Yisro gave Moshe. So we actually say that. So we actually put them together, according to the Ibn Ezra. And Yisro gave Moshe advice to basically make it as a pyramid, where he's on the top, and he's telling Bnei Israel the Torah and the mitzvahs, and then the people below him, appointed below him, are going to judge the people. And Moshe said that this happened after, when they're leaving Har Sinai, so after the giving of the Torah. That's the four proofs that Ibn Ezra has. And as I mentioned before, the reason, according to the Ibn Ezra, they're put together is to show you the contrast between Amalek and Yisro. So now the Ramban doesn't consider such a reason such a strong reason, and also he has very simple questions, which I would say very good question over here. The Torah says, "Vayishma Yisrael Kohen Midian Chasem Es Asher Aseh Elokim LaMoshe LeYisrael Amai." What Yisro heard what Hashem did to Moshe and Israel's nation, that he took them out of Egypt. Now Yisro seems that he didn't hear the Matan Torah, anything about Matan Torah, which all the nations were supposed to hear of Matan Torah, the greatest revelation. Why didn't it mention that Yisro heard that? So it seems to be the reason is because it was before Matan Torah. And later on, another question, which is basically the same question, but from two different places, we see this, that when Moshe was telling Yisro, he told them everything that Hashem did to Paro and to Mitzrayim, about Bnei Israel and everything, all the toil, everything that happened to them on the way, and Hashem saved them. And he doesn't say, and how Hashem gave them the Torah and everything that happened over there. So again, another reason to prove that it happened after that happened before the giving of the Torah, and it's all in order. So the question is, why does it mention Har HaElokim? Why does it say Yisro came to the desert where Moshe and Bnei Israel were encamped, to the mountain of God? It seems like that they're all in Har Sinai. So the Ramban says, no, actually, Yisro came when Bnei Israel were still in Rephidim. Now, Rephidim was close to Har Sinai. Now, the proof that it was close to Har Sinai is that when Bnei Israel complained for water, Hashem told Moshe to go to Chorev with the Zakanim. Now Chorev is Har Sinai, with the Zakanim, and go to the rock over there where Hashem's presence is going to be, and hit the rock, and water will come out. And so we see that Chorev wasn't too far, because he was going to water Bnei Israel from this rock. So that's one proof. Now I would say that the Ibn Ezra has another proof. I don't think the Ramban holds so. But the Ibn Ezra, of course, this wouldn't work with the Ibn Ezra, but I'm saying the Ramban could use the Ibn Ezra over here for proof. This proof is the Torah says in the Milchama of Amalek, which was also in Rephidim, right after they complained about water, the war with Amalek. So the Torah says that Moshe told Yoshua, tomorrow I and Aaron and Hur are going to go to the head of the hill, to the peak of the hill. Now, what is this hill? It says Rosh Hagiva, the hill, the known hill. So the Ibn Ezra says it's actually Har Sinai, and over here it's described as a hill. So, which is, it's pretty interesting. I don't think the Ramban would agree with that. First of all, it's called a hill, and afterwards, why did they have to go on to camp under the mountain where they were before? Okay, that's a question. We could go back and forth on it, but anyhow, it doesn't seem like the Ramban holds by that. But if so, that would be another proof that it's close to Har Sinai. But the proof of the water is enough, I think. Anyway, it's close to Har Sinai, and that's when Yisro came, according to the Ramban. So why did the Torah say that Yisro came to the mountain of God, to Chorev, which seems like to the desert where he's camped, to the mountain of God, which seems like the mountain of God was the same thing. Rephidim wasn't right under the mountain. It was close. It wasn't too far, but it wasn't right under the mountain. So the Ramban says that actually Yisro didn't come all the way to the camp. Where the Torah is telling us that Yisro came until the mountain of God, which was between Midian and not exactly in between, closer to, of course, Bnei Israel's in place that they're camping, but it was between them and the camp, between Midian and the camp. And Yisro came until the mountain of Hashem, to Har Sinai, Har Elokim, to Har Sinai. He came there, and then he sent a letter telling Yisro that he's there for Moshe to come out and greet him. And that's when Moshe came out to greet him by the Har HaElokim, by Har Sinai, and then they came back to the camp. So that's just an interesting thing that the Ramban says about that. Now, another really big argument over here is if actually Yisro went with Bnei Israel to Eretz Yisrael. Now, as we mentioned before, according to the Ibn Ezra, Yisro did not go to Eretz Yisrael with Bnei Israel. The Ramban says that actually he did, and he brings Chazal similar to this, that Yisro went back to convert his family. So Yisro, over here, Moshe, according to the Ramban, over here, before Matan Torah, Moshe sent Yisro back to Eretz Yisrael, to Midian, and then Yisro came back or before the Matan Torah, or after Matan Torah, whatever it was, he came back before they left, while they were still camped by Har Sinai. And then Yisro and Moshe asked him again. Moshe asked him to come with him, and Yisro didn't want to. And then Moshe again asked him, please come with us. And then it doesn't say Yisro answered him. So assuming, according to the Ramban, we assume Yisro agreed and came with Moshe to Eretz Yisrael. And he brings also a chazal similar to this that says that Yisro got the Ir HaTamarim, which chazal say is Yericho. Ir HaTamarim, because of all the ash and everything from the burning and all of that, they got that which was good fertilizer, whatever. It was they got something special. Anyhow, what we see from here is that they came to Eretz Yisrael according to this midrash in Chazal. That's an interesting thing. Another interesting thing to point out over here. Now, I do have a question on the Ramban according to this. If Moshe sent Yisro and then he came back, we see Yisro wanted to come with Bnei Yisrael to Eretz Yisrael. Why did Yisro refuse at the beginning when Moshe asked him the second time? That doesn't make sense. Why Moshe asked him a second time, come with us? Didn't he already know he was planning on coming with us? I mean, he came and then he left and then he came back according to the Ramban. What? Now he's planning on leaving again? It seemed like he came back because he wanted to attach himself there to Bnei Yisrael and stay with Bnei Yisrael. That's my question I have. That doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be a question. We could say that maybe Yisro had in mind to just come and be there for a while and maybe get the Torah with them or whatever it is and then go back. And then Moshe asked Yisro to stay, and he stayed, and that's according to the Ramban. That's a few more. That's just something interesting. Another interesting point I'd like to point out is that the Torah says that Yisro was happy. Yisro said, "Kiba davar asher zadu alihem." Yisro said, "Blessed is Hashem that saved you from Egypt," and he blessed Hashem. And then he said, "Now I know that Hashem is greater than all gods." Kiba davar asher zadu alihem. That Hashem. Why did Hashem? So there is a midrash. One way to explain it is that Hashem repaid them on what they mida keneged mida. They threw the children into the water, and Hashem repaid them with that they were drowned in the sea. Now, simple pshat, I think the Ibn Ezra and the Ramban explained this, that Kiba davar asher zadu alihem, that Hashem punished them because Kiba davar, for this reason, Hashem punished them. Asher zadu alihem, because they purposely afflicted them and did bad to them. They didn't originally, like the Ramban also explains this. Originally, that Hashem told Avram in Bris Ben Absarim, Gam said Goy Asher, the nation that Bnei Yisrael will serve, Dan Anochi, I will judge. Now, judge doesn't mean that they're going to get punishment, but Hashem will decide. Did they just do what was decreed that Bnei Yisrael would happen to what Bnei Yisrael needed to get, what they deserved, that they would be in galus, they would be in exile, or would they do extra bad to them? And so Egypt actually did extra bad. They threw their children into water, killed their children, worked them with hard labor, back-breaking labor, and therefore they got punished. And that's what Yisro is saying, that Kiba davar asher zadu alihem, because they were bemazed, they did bad to Bnei Yisrael, that's why they got punished. Okay, well, anyway, that's all I have to say over here. I hope it was helpful. I know it's a little bit long and a little bit repetitive, but anyhow, everyone should have a good Shabbos. And if you like these shiurim, please, if they're interesting to you, if you like them, please like and subscribe, share to other people, and Be'ezrat Hashem, I'll try sending more of them in shorts and shiurim, Be'ezrat Hashem. Have a good Shabbos.